Well, over the hill, why not? And he's proved before, certainly in Paris-Nice last year when he was really on form, that if he gets over a hill, he can carry it on. Remember when he was fighting with Geraint Thomas to take a stage? Svitsov was close to the front for Sky as well. ๊dʒiːro just letting that one go, and Tom ๊dʒiːro's getting some pace. And this is where the sprinters teams have to take some responsibility now.
Yes, well, the sprinters teams will be trying to hold off, and they still are holding off as much as possible. Still 5 kilometers to go, of course, and a rider on his own, it would take a big push to hold off here. Even though it is downhill, the first number of kilometers it goes down quite a lot, and into the finish it's a very fast run in. But we can see Giant, Albacin are the ones on control, and I think they feel there's no need to really up the pace for the moment. Leave Slagter just hang out there.
3 Giro d'Italia for Tom ๊dʒiːro, the Dutchman, riding for Canadel Garmin. And here comes BMC trying to get a rider now. 1, 2, if another rider goes, it becomes that bit more dangerous. Surely the sprinters teams aren't going to fail again. It was never sure, this one. We always thought that after a day like yesterday and before the days that are upcoming again in the mountains, that the profile could have lent itself to a breakaway, but a breakaway going from a long way, if we had that right composition. As it went, only 3 riders got up there early on. Berlato, Kessa, Bandiera. They were well controlled, they were brought back. The sprinters teams did their job. They looked like they wanted a sprint, but we're on our way into Lugano, and we have Tom ๊dʒiːro out there and a man chasing him from BMC. 4.3 kilometers to go. And this time it is Philippe Gilbert. Well, at the minute, Tinkoff Saxo and all the pace they're doing is just about good enough to keep it in check. Over they go now, 4.2 kilometers to go, and that's the climbing out the way. So it's Tom ๊dʒiːro and Philippe Gilbert, but just behind them a very, very hungry peloton. Well, kudos for Gilbert for trying it again.
Yes, well, it's a finish that Gilbert can do so well. The little kick-ups he can manage to get out of the peloton. That's what he's done behind Tom ๊dʒiːro. He knows that he has to try and do something here, but again the peloton is going at a very fast rate. To hold off here, the climb is not steep enough to break up the peloton enough that the team of sprinters will get scattered on the climb, and when that is the case, well then they get organised again very quickly after the climb, and that's what we're seeing here on the descent.
Is this Luca Paolini having a go for them as well? Remember, Luca Paolini, when he first took a professional win, it was right here at the Gran Premio Lugano all those years ago. Rewarded with a new contract the other day, tries to get away. There's an Agile Desert rider just trying to take advantage of any confusion, any let up by the teams who want to make this into some sort of a sprint. 2.9 kilometers remain. We've got a couple more curves to go, and then we have those lefts, rights, a big couple of right-handers as well, right-angled turns, before a few roundabouts on the way in. And we'll finish on the Riva Vincenzo Vela, right on the lakeside. Luca Paolini trying to take it up then with 2.7 Ks to go. Just behind him, Philippe Gilbert, the former world champion from Belgium. Tom ๊dʒiːro on his wheel. And Paolini knows the routes. And you can just hear him shouting, get out the way, get out the way.
Yes, and if you know the roads, if you know this running, well then it's a huge advantage, because we can see here, it does turn quite a lot left and right, and the actual sprint itself, you do not see the line until you get to within 200 meters of the finish line, so it's turning all the way from 750 meters, it turns around to the left to follow the lakeside.
So Luca Paolini getting away brilliant here. Luca Paolini with 2 kilometers to go has quite a gap, and it was all very, very nervous behind. It was all very, very chaotic. A few riders getting away. The guys of the general classification team just pulling off because we're inside 3 kilometers to go. And in the meantime, those who wanted a sprint are having to get reorganized very, very late in the day. There's Poursev, the Russian champion, but he's not going to do any chasing. Boller is there as well, and ๊dʒiːro also being brought into the right place. Sabatini in the 4th wheel there as well for Ethics Quickstep, but in the meantime 1.4 kilometers to go, and Luca Paolini, you can see them chasing on behind. It's been a valiant effort, but it's not going to happen for him today. approaching the final kilometre, fast and furious. Sean, we've got quite a few riders here. The only team, apart from Trek Factory Racing, that looks to be organised is that of Lampre Merida on the left-hand side.
Yes, and I think there is time to correct the situation. We can see Sky also there, 1.1 to go, and we could see Paolini there. He made a fabulous descent, really tough big race, but it's starting to level out here now to the finish, and we can see a little bit of a split in the group because of that very technical and fast descending.
Modolo is there and ready. Third wheel in the pink and navy blue. Kevin Reza's there for Française des Jeux as well. Poursev is the Russian champion. 700 metres to go now, couple more turns still to go. Coming up to the lakeside in Lugano at stage 17 of this Giro d'Italia. Lobato's made it for Movistar. Has he got into the right position? Look for Heinrich Hausler as well on the wheel of the red jersey of Elia Viviani. The Australian champion, present and correct. Is he there to launch a sprint? Is it going to be the day for Yam Cycling? Viviani looking for a second stage win, and Mez gets there as well for Giant Alpecin, who've done all the work all day long. No lead out for them there, and he's going to go on the left-hand side. Mezgec as Modelo's led out through the centre. It's Modelo in the pink against Mezgec in the black. Mezgec now hits the front, a former winner of the stage on the Giro as well, but it's Modelo who hits it. Here comes ʻdʒiːro, but nobody can live with Modelo. Sacha Modelo again for Lampre Merida. Win number 4 of the Giro for them, and Modelo becomes the second man, a day after Landa did it, to double up on this Giro. He had no wins until a week ago at this Grand Tour. He now has 2, and Lampre Merida, the organised team in there, and Sean Kelly, it paid off.
Yes, it did pay off, and we could see Lampre Merida, you know, they had 2 men in the front, and with this finish, the way it turned around, you could not see the finish line until you're actually around the 200 metres to go. So lead out was very important, but yeah, Sacha Modelo, very impressive, very powerful.
Modelo hitting the front at just the right time. It looked for a fraction of a second as though Mezgec had hit the front and he was going to hold it. He did get there, he couldn't hold the power. ʻdʒiːro up there as well. Viviani not too far away, and it's Sacha Modelo of Lampre Merida, and Lampre, well, what a Giro they are having. Modelo the winner on stage 17 of this 2015 Giro d'Italia. Well, Modelo congratulated, Lampre celebrate. Hard work all day. Giant Alpecin did most of it for them for most of the day. Nervous moments when Paolini and all the rest were attacking, and this is the sprint again. Modelo, third wheel to the front, his team leading it into the final 700 metres, Sean. They took all the curves, everything all right. They obviously had all the maps studied, and as Mezgec in the black goes on the right-hand side, Modelo is led out brilliantly.
Yes, well taken to the point where he just take up his sprint, and we can see Modelo, you know, when he takes it up, it looked like that Mezgec was going to come over him, but a bike length in the difference at the line.
Hausler there in 4th place as well. ʻdʒiːro not too far off either.
In association with the Israel Ministry of Tourism.
Stage 17 from Tirano to Lugano ends in a sprint, and it ends with Sacha Modelo, the victor.
Post stage 17 of this Giro d'Italia, and Sacha Modelo has got his 2nd stage victory and Lampre Merida's 4th of this 98th edition of the race. Juan Antonio Fletcher's here, of course. Juan Antonio, tell us about to start with the sprint finish. We've just seen a replay of it. How did it look to you?
Well, look, an amazing job from Lampre Merida, and surprisingly, ʻdʒiːro was very close. He actually is now on the red jersey, but he was close to beat Modelo. But Lampre Merida guys, they did a superb lead-out train. Was the only team up there. That's something that we have to say, because there were not many teams really trying at the end, especially because of Luca Paolini's attack in the real final on the downhill. But they really managed to organize themselves again after the downhill and lead Sacha Modelo out in the best way.
I should apologise for the pink that's going on behind us. I think they let off the cannon a little bit too early today. We almost expected a break at the very beginning of the stage. It did happen, but it wasn't enough, and eventually they were caught. So the stage could have gone two ways, and it went the way of the sprinters. Why?
Well, that breakaway, apparently there were not many, I mean, just 3 guys up on the road, and they went up on the ๊dʒiːro climb, which was so I was expecting more battles. So normally, if there's more battle to be in the breakaway, that provokes at the end the guys that have to chase, they are more tired. But it didn't happen, so there were just 3 guys up there, easy to control. They managed to arrive quite until the real final of the race, but still they probably needed to be at the real before the downhill and climbs, because that was the moment where they could stay away.
Let's hear now from Henrik Hausler from I Am Cycling.
Henrik Hausler, we expected a breakaway. Finally, it's a bunch sprint, but with not a lot of sprinters. How are you, and how about that sprint?
Yeah, it was kind of strange. At kilometre 0, only 3 guys attacked, and I think the whole peloton was like, "Oh, we're dreaming. What's going on?" But then on the climb, the attack started again, so it was pretty fast, pretty hard. But then in the end, it was a sprint, very hard sprint, with the 2 climbs before that, and very technical, left, right, small roads, and yeah, it's just all about positioning. I think Lampre, you know, they had 3 guys in the end going into the last kilometre, and it was perfect for them.
And once again, it's the only team who gets a train who can win that kind of stage. Eh?
Yeah, it's not a real proper lead out here now that all the big, not big sprinters are gone, but I mean the big lead out team, Lotto. So it's a typical Italian sprint, kamikaze.
Okay, good luck for the next days.
Yeah, thanks.
So a win for Lampre Merida, then a 4th win for them, as we said. ďiঃtaːlja in 2nd and Luka Mezgec in 3rd. How did the sprint go, did you think? Because it was only 200 metres at the very end.
Yeah, Modolo, he started his sprint. At one point I was thinking that he would probably start too early. They committed to the left of the road. And I was thinking on maybe Luka Mezgec. It was looking good at the moment that he started to sprint. But for me, it was very surprised what ďiঃtaːlja did, because at the beginning probably he didn't have that much room to start sprinting. And at the end, the bunch swing a little bit more to the center, to the middle of the road, and ďiঃtaːlja was able to start his sprint. Probably it would have been like a few meters more. It would be better for ďiঃtaːlja, but hats up for Modolo and Lampre especially, because they did a superb riding the whole day. But at the end, what it really counted was the lead-out train, and the fact that Lampre already won 3 stages before today probably made that they were more relaxed about the victory or not, so they didn't took much energy on chasing the breakaway down, and they had the strength in numbers in the final for the lead-out train.
Okay, let's check the general classifications after today's stage. No change, of course, as expected.
No change whatsoever. Actually, Alberto Contador 4 minutes and 2 seconds ahead of Mikel Landamana, and Fabio Aru in 3rd at 4 minutes and 52 seconds. Andrea Amador still in 4th, with Trofimov in 5th. Koenig, Caruso, Kruijswijk, Geniez and Hejsdal all making up the top 10.
So no change, of course, really in the GC, but I suppose no crashes today, Juan Antonio, which is what the guys at Tinkoff Saxo especially would have been looking for.
Yeah, we've seen Tinkoff Saxo especially riding at the end, positioning again Alberto Contador as best as possible in the front, and it was some split in the bunch in the final due to that downhill, but Alberto was well positioned there. He was able to stay in the front in the first group and out of any trouble. No crashes today, so it's better for everybody.
The commentators talked about Matteo Trossato again, and how he's been the real bodyguard for Alberto, and he did it again today.
Of course, he's especially his bodyguard on the flat stages, but he's been excelling. He's been performing very well also uphill. Matteo Trossato, we have to remember, he's quite a veteran. He's over 40, he's 41, and so a lot of respect for Matteo, because it's just nice to watch him on TV. The way that he racing, he seems like he's 20 when he's 41. So he's doing his job. I mean, he's passionate about what he's doing, and he's doing it superb. I mean, he's a lot of experience on cycling, and especially on the flat. And Alberto's got the best man out there for sure.
Viviani and ďiঃtaːlja were fighting it out for the red jersey at the intermediate sprints after ďiঃtaːlja was penalised yesterday for holding onto a car. How did the fight for the red jersey go for you today?
Well, it's still a fight where just 1 point in between them, so that's a small room for them and a small advantage for Vianney until today, and today's on ḓiːtaːlja because he got the more points at the real final, so at the end it counts more the points at the finish line rather than the intermediate sprints. But it's nice to be at this part of the race of the Giro d'Italia, still seeing riders going for that red jersey and trying to get as much points as possible. So that's when some of the classifications is not the final, it's good for the race because it had a lot of interest.
Absolutely, and of course in Milan on the final day, that's when the red jersey will be decided. Let's see what tomorrow's stage looks like.
Well, if that was a break, tomorrow we go back into the hills. Melide to Verbania. It's only 3 out of 5. They call it a medium mountain stage, but after all that's gone before, anybody who has anything left to give may want to attack on that final climb. Afterwards, it's a fast descent in, either a stage hunter or a GC guy. We will see.
That's tomorrow's stage. Let's go straight to the podium, though, for the presentation of today's stage winner.
Sacciamodolo back once again. Tirano to Lugano, 134 kilometers, was the shortest stage of this 98th Giro d'Italia. And Sacciamodolo, after having never won a Giro d'Italia stage until Jesolo just at the end of last week, is back again. Just shows that Lampre Merida have done so much work on the lead-out training in the last 12 months. It was a huge step forward last year at the Tour de Suisse with Modolo when he took that first World Tour win. He's taken the first Grand Tour win this year at the Giro d'Italia, and he has 2 of them. And Modolo, who is from the northeast of Italy himself, takes another prize. Roberto Ferrari sacrificing his own sprint options later into his career. He's the second to last man. Max Richese, the Argentine rider, a brilliant lead-out man. Lampre are mixing it in the sprints. And Sacciamodolo, another happy man, this time in Switzerland.
Another good day for Lampre Merida. Final word from Juan Antonio Fletcher before we go.
Well, I think it's good to talk about today. It's been the shortest in this Giro, and probably many riders use it as still a recovery day, active recovery, because they're reading fast again. But especially we haven't seen that much fight at the real beginning with that on that climb. That's good because we will probably see more fight. Probably many riders are looking more onto tomorrow's stage, which is having that final climb, and then Cervinia and other stages.
Absolutely. Juan Antonio, thank you very much indeed. Join us again tomorrow for live coverage of this Giro d'Italia when we have a Category 1 climb right at the very end of the stage. We'll see you on Giro Extra before and after the stage, live on Eurosport, the home of cycling. Bye-bye.
We will certainly see you tomorrow. Plenty more where that came from. Stage 18 coming up in 24 hours' time. And as Ashley mentioned, Verbania, 170 kilometres, but it's all about that first category climb. 1:15 if you're watching on British Eurosport. 2:15, it's Central European time for you Eurosport International viewers. Sacciamodolo wins again then. Elia Viviani losing ground in the points classification. Still no win for Luca Mezgec, but it's Modolo who doubles up Lampre, who take a 4th victory at this Giro d'Italia. Well, from me, Rob Hatch, Sean Kelly and all the team, we're about to hand you back to Paris and Roland Garros, the French Open. Stepanek against Burdick on court at the minute, and you can see that match after this next break. Well, victory for Roger Federer early in the day. Catch up with everything, of course, game, set and mats, and the rest of our coverage later on this evening. We hand you over to Paris now, and the company of our tennis commentators.